You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
Black and White Sports fans, today is Super Bowl Sunday. The Rams and the Bengals will duke it out on the gridiron to see who will be the Super Bowl champion. And one of the QBs in this game is Joe Burrow of the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, if you had asked people before the season, would Cincinnati actually be in this situation to win the Super Bowl? They would probably say no, because going into this season, Cincinnati had not won a playoff game since 1991. Now, they've been under the same owner since then, Mike Brown. He is the owner and the general manager. And let's say that his ownership tenure has not been very good. So that leads us to another former Bengals quarterback, Carson Palmer. Carson Palmer actually said something about the future of Joe Burrow that would probably make Bengals fans sit back and be a little bit scared for the future of Joe Burrow. And I believe, guys, that a franchise quarterback can hide many of the blemishes of a poorly owned franchise. Now, if you look at the history of the Saints were pretty pathetic before they got Drew Brees. And Drew Brees, when he was the quarterback there, they had a really, really good run, and they actually won a Super Bowl. Can the same thing actually happen with Joe Burrow in Cincinnati? Well, check this out, guys. The former Bengals QB, Carson Palmer, had this to say about Joe Burrow. You can see here, Super Bowl QB Joe Burrow might lead Bengals, claims Carson Palmer. I think Joe's going to sit back after this game, win or lose, and be like, man, am I going to re-sign with this team? Palmer says. Now, for some context here, you have to remember the relationship Carson Palmer had with the Bengals. The man actually retired. He got sick and tired of the Bengals franchise. And to be honest, the Bengals were a laughingstock. Now, Carson Palmer, he had a really, really good season. I believe it was in 2004, if I'm not mistaken. He was actually an MVP candidate. He threw 32 touchdown passes, and he ended up blowing out his knee. And I believe he had missed an entire season after that. But his relationship with the Bengals wasn't very good. And he got up on out of there, and they ended up trading him to the Raiders. And we know that he ended his career with the Cardinals. But we're going to play this clip here of what Carson Palmer had to say about Joe Burrow. And if you're a Bengals fan, you better hope that you don't lose this guy. Now, we know that NFL teams, they have the franchise tag, and players, they really do not like the franchise tag because it doesn't give them any stability for the future. It's only guaranteed for 1 year. And Carson Palmer, I guess, is planting a seed in Joe Burrow's mind. Hey, this is the same ownership group here that I went through, same GM, and look at the lack of success we had. Now, I do believe that Joe Burrow is a future star in this league. I really, really do. I don't believe he's even reached his potential, not even close. But listen to what Carson Palmer had to say here.
Yeah, they have pursued the pieces that they've added to the puzzle. So I think they're in an interesting spot. I mean, I think Joe's going to sit back after this game, win or lose, and be like, man, am I going to re-sign with this team? Are they willing to do what it takes to continuously build to get back to the next Super Bowl next year and the year after that and the year after that? How are they willing to structure salary cap wise to be able to afford me, but to also be able to afford Jamar Chase when he comes up, or T. Higgins, or maybe even redo this offensive line that's given up a league-leading 54 sacks, I believe, this year. That's an issue. And I know it's easy to say, well, that's the offensive line that got him to the Super Bowl. But Joe's not thinking about this one Super Bowl. Joe is thinking about getting 7. Yeah. He's got.
You know what? He may not be wrong about this. He may not. The offensive line, we know that is the biggest weakness. And if Joe Burrow is actually going to have a future in this league, the Bengals, win, lose, or draw this game, they're going to have to go out and fix that offensive line because they definitely need to protect their quarterback. Now, will Mike Brown actually do that? That is the question right there. And the The Bengals, they have caught lightning in a bottle. There's no doubt about it. Now, would anybody actually be picking them to go back to the Super Bowl again next year? I'm not really sure. But Carson Palmer, man, he knows the Bengals. He played there for a while. Do you guys think he's actually trying to make Joe Burrow sit back and really think, do you really want to be here? Is this what you want? I was there. They didn't do much for me. You got to look out for yourself. I do believe it's a lot harder to actually get rid of a franchise QB. I mean, and Joe Burrow now has led the Bengals to the Super Bowl. He's led them further than Carson Palmer ever led the Bengals. When Carson Palmer was there, they appeared in the playoffs 2 times. They didn't even win a playoff game. They didn't. But Mike Brown, let's be honest, the Bengals are here in the Super Bowl, but it's not because of him, I really believe. I really don't. I believe he's a terrible owner. I really, really do. But like I said, a franchise quarterback can really cover up a lot of the mistakes of poor ownership. And the Bengals, let's be real, they have been poorly run forever. I remember up until about a decade ago, man, you really thought that the Bengals were a laughing stock. Now, the Marvin Lewis years, they had some good years there. Marvin Lewis, pretty good coach, but Marvin Lewis, I never believed was the guy that was actually going to take you over the top. And Mike Brown stuck with Marvin Lewis for way too long. Marvin Lewis was there for like 16 years, never won a playoff game. And Carson Palmer, he brings up a good question, are the Bengals actually going to do enough to protect this man in the future and also to contend for future Super Bowls? And if they win, will ownership just sit back and say, hey, we won, and that's good enough for me? But eventually, guys, they're going to have to end up paying this guy. Joe Burrow is going to command a huge contract if he continues to improve. And the Bengals, they're going to have to learn how to actually operate around that, because he's going to get his money. He definitely will. But will they continue to build to contend for Super Bowls, or will they just be complacent and say, we got one, and that's pretty much it? That's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Black and white sports fans, let us know what you think about all this in the comments. Make sure to subscribe to Black and White Sports, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.